2025 was a really good year for the Souls-like genre. We had early hitters like the first Berserker Kazan and AI Limit. Night Rain gave us our FromSoft fix, while Lies of P Overture delivered a fantastic follow-up DLC with great weapon variety and a kitten. Then there was Wuchang Fallen Feathers, which seems to harken right back to the original Dark Souls. And that's not including the Souls-likes I played for the first time in 2025. Nine Sols delivered 2D Sekiro excellence, Jedi Fallen Order showed that the formula can apply to other series, and Lords of the Fallen 2023 hit me with an awesome world-switching gimmick even if the combat left a little to be desired. Special shoutouts go to Eigong from Nine Sols. You were the best boss fight I played in 2025, but you came out in 2024, so you can't qualify for this list. Of those 2025 games, I didn't get the chance to play Wuchang or AI Limit, but all the others are here today as I reveal my favourites. Also, not a Souls-like, but Renoir from Expedition 33, you're so peak, even if I bet everyone just want me to fight Simon instead. Anyway, I'm Billy S, and these are my top 10 Souls-like boss battles of 2025. At number 10, we have Adele, Baron of Night, from Elden Ring, Night Rain. And this entry includes both Adele's basic battle and Everdark variant, as it only enhances what was already an extremely well-designed fight that has only aged like wine the longer I've sat on it. Whenever I or my partner needed a Night Lord to fight while farming remembrances, Adele was our choice. It's a boss whose moveset is exactly what you see. You have to dodge various charge attacks and its swinging jaws while watching out for that grab animation. If you're caught, Adele will chew you up, inflict bleed, and heal at the same time, which encourages players to learn the dodge timing. Once Adele reaches half health, the boss then erupts with purple lightning and imbues it into its combos. Now the various head slams create lightning AoEs you have to jump over, and one player will find themselves targeted by a series of charges and grab attack attempts, which is the perfect opportunity for the other teammates to deal damage. Then, the Everdark variant creates an arena-enhancing attack that cuts off most of the battlefield, forcing you to use Spirit Springs to boost your way into the safe zone so you can fight Adele at their most aggressive. Once you've learned the moveset, this boss is actually quite predictable, and that's what I like. Even the Everdark version can be taken down with a little trial and error while getting used to the new arena AoE, and that level of comfort manages to bring Adele up from the middle spots I initially had him ranked in during this game's release. Congratulations, Baron of Night. Hello from the top 10! At number 9, we have Blade Phantom from the first Berserker Kazan. The second main boss of the game, I adore what Kazan chose to do here. Unlike other games that really ease you into the combat and systems, Kazan just said, we're gonna throw a boss who will be trial by fire for you, and you're gonna love it. Does it help that the Blade Phantom is voiced by Anthony Howell, who also voiced Morgott in Elden Ring? Perhaps. Is it intriguing that he keeps getting casted to voice characters whose whole gimmick revolves around using various different types of spiritual weapons? Now there's a connection. What I love about this fight is how it tells the narrative. The Blade Phantom wishes to take over the body of Kazan, and this is our chance to fight back and ensure that our body goes where we want it to go. Thus, the Phantom can't be too easy, or it'll make you feel like the creature invading you isn't a threat, when it is in the lore. But it also can't be too hard because it's the second boss in the fucking game. So finding the perfect balance is what the developers had to achieve, and they managed it. Yes, he has a lot of combos he can break out with swords, spears, claws, fists, but they all have a rhythm, they have a pattern. You can learn them, and by the time you succeeded this fight, managing your stamina correctly and taking advantage of burst counters, you'll feel ready for the rest of the game. Surely they won't make an even harder fight for Mission 3. At number 8, we have Marchiona, Puppeteer of Death, from Lies of P Overture. Gank fights have gotten a bad rap over the years, with only a handful of them managing to overcome the stigma to become real household names in the Souls community, and one such example is Marchiona, Puppeteer of Death. NeoWiz saw an opportunity to create a gank fight with such a unique premise that I can't think of any others that do it this way. How it works is Markiona fights alongside her puppet. A string tethers them, which can be blue, red, or gold. When it's blue, the puppet is passive and Markiona is the one moving around or using her ergo-based attacks. When the string is red, it means the puppet is now the aggressor and you need to focus on blocking its attacks. When the string is gold, the pair of them attack for what is most likely a damaging combo. Basically, Markiona is exactly what she says she is, a puppeteer. Her ally has no will of its own, no ergo, it's just a shell that she controls to spin around and fly about the arena and distract you from attacking her. And she's no slouch, with powerful attacks that hit hard, fast, and can be tough to perfect block. You have to finish off her puppet, then damage her while she revives her ally, with the fight only ending upon her health bar hitting 0. Such a cool design, she really starts off Overture with a bang. And who finishes it? You'll see later. At number 7, we have Hailster the Night Lord, the final boss of Elden Ring Night Reign. To take on the Night Aspect Hunt, you have to defeat 4 of the 7 initial Night Lords, which will change the Round Table hold and unlock the true final battle. He starts as the Shape of Night, a ragged figure who has a couple hard-hitting combos, but nothing too crazy. He's mainly there in Phase 1 to waste a bit of time, get a few good hits in so you lose a flask or two, and just generally be a little annoying. Once the fight begins proper though, Hailster lets loose. I said let loose! Many of his large sword slams come with AoE bursts that can catch you off guard. He can summon projectiles to fly after one of the Nightfarers, and his ability to move around the arena is unmatched. You can never be too careful when facing him down. I have seen countless times Wilders grappling along the battlefield and getting clipped by every single attack in Hailster's arsenal because he's just that guy. He's most well known though for his special ability to channel the other Night Lords. He can rip open his arena, tearing into the realities of his servants to take their power for his own. Fire for Gladius, Purple Lightning for Adele, Poison for Nosta, Sleep for Maris, Madness for Libra, Holy for Fulgor, and Ice for Caligo. This imbues his sword swings, but also the various AoEs along the ground that you have to avoid. I still struggle with this moveset to this day. He's just so active and fast, so you have to hope you've got a solid team who all know how to stay alive, as it's very easy to get caught in a loop of reviving downed teammates while Hailster continues to channel power. He may not be my favourite fight in Night Reign, with the DLC adding a couple battles I prefer, but he leaves an impression, and his special ability is the coolest in the entire game. He was so cool, he got on my 7 Souls bosses who aura farm video. Come on now! Which you should go watch, by the way, and maybe consider parrying that subscribe button to stay up to date on all my future videos. We want to reach 40,000 subscribers and we're only 2,500 away. Let's do it! At number 6, we have Viper from the first Berserker Kazan. The third boss in the game, this was the first real wall that Kazan players faced when we picked the game up early in 2025, because they decided that for the third boss, when you're still getting to grips with your chosen weapon and moveset, that they would throw a 2-phase fight at you. Viper wants to channel the power of the ancient berserk dragon Hismar, and it's up to you, Kazan, to stop this from happening. Viper is very cool, as he's one of the rare Souls-like bosses to wield a Twin Blade, one of my favourite weapon types. The challenge comes from learning his Phase 1 combos, because Twin Blades are inherently flashy. It's hard to tell whether you're about to get hit by an attack, or if the twirls are cosmetic before the actual impact hits half a second later. It doesn't help that I'm also distracted by the fact that Viper is a scaly twink, very much a smash, but he has to die. At half health, he adds more attacks to the mix, using the Twin Blade like a boomerang, for which you need to learn the timing to avoid it as it returns back to the boss. He's also got some charge leap attacks you have to block, and a grab denoted by a flash of white on the tip of his spear, which I got hit by a lot in my recordings. Deplete the first health bar and Viper will transform via the Hismar Scale's power, becoming a hulking behemoth with a new feral moveset. The Twink has become the Twunk. While not as interesting as his Phase 1 moveset, I do have to shout out that moment mid-fight, where Viper lets out a roar and darkens the arena, to where the only light you can see are the flickering of his own eyes in the distance. He'll try to lunge at you from the darkness, lightning illuminating his form for a short while, and this continues until you do damage and the arena lights back up. It's like being in a horror movie, and had me on the edge of my seat from start to finish. A true roller coaster ride. Most of Kazan's gameplay after this felt way easier by comparison, and it's all because of that 1-2 punch of Blade Phantom and Viper. Not my favourite boss in the game though. At number 5, I'm so happy. I'm so happy that in the year of 2025, I get to talk about Knight Artorias from Elden Ring Night Rain, the Great Hollow. Yes! You thought only Night Lords would be making this list? You thought I was going to ignore one of my favourite fights in all of Soulsborne coming back? Ha! The lead up to Knight Artorias is one of my favourites. You're faced with a constant respawning series of darkened humanoids. Barely a threat, and the whole time you're killing them over and over as you wait to see what comes next. None of us knew when Artorias would appear in the DLC, but hearing the sound effect of something approaching as the music cuts and he slams down just like he did all those years ago in Dark Souls, it brings a tear to the eye. Artorias has all the tricks and flips he had from the old days. The triple somersault, the abyssal goop, the blade lunge, his jump slam that he used to cross the arena in the first game is now a grab attack. If it impales someone, it will cause an AoE slam around him nearby before he lifts up the player and holds them up in the exact same pose as his old concept art. And then he just yeets them into the distance. It's fucking cinema. Naturally, Artorias' moveset did need an update to be on par with the Nightfarers, and they really did everything they could to ensure he could run with the big boys. The fact that I'm losing runs to Artorias makes me insanely happy, and no amount of words can convey just how excited I was to see him for the first time in 2025. And then his mid-fight buff happens, which is now uninterruptible from what I gathered, which launches a series of homing projectiles at the Nightfarers before he pops off with an entirely new combo unique to Night Rain. For half a second I thought he was going to get a complete revamped moveset, but hey, the new moves work just as well. It's so sad that he ultimately gets pulled right back into the darkness once you defeat him though, a melancholic reminder of his true fate. Now can we please get Ornstein and Smo in the next DLC? From Software, this is not a request, this is a threat. At number 4, we have the Dreglord, Traitorous Stragus, the final boss of Elden Ring Night Rain's Great Hollow DLC. Call it recency bias, but the Dreglord managed to combine a sick-ass design with a literally sick-ass fight, where every attempt felt like I was one step away from victory or defeat. He has 2 phases, the first of which revolves around him attacking you with his scythe in various combos. His design, by the way, insane. It looks exactly how I imagine a modern-style Gravelord Nito would. He has the ability to summon projectiles of rot alongside a host of rotted minions and AoEs to try and take you down, and you have to stagger him by destroying the rot he builds around himself while ensuring the enemies he creates don't merge with each other, because otherwise they turn into bigger enemies and eventually rotted worm faces roaming around, which is a terrifying prospect at the best of times. Phase 2 is the real reason he lands this high though. The music swells, bone spires burst from the ground, and pure impulse Stragus enters the scene. With the frantic energy of Adele and the insanely well-designed moveset of Hailster, alongside some extremely fun spectacle attacks, Stragus is just a great time. I love when he clings to the various pillars trying to run you down before launching into a large AoE slam, or how as the fight progresses he goes through enraged states, creating a vast pair of nuclear explosions that blast past any of the skull towers you're hiding behind to wipe you into non-existence. And yet staying in his face is actually the key to avoiding these attacks, as no-hit runs of shown a few perfect rolls are the key to victory. Then he ends the fight with one last Rot Rain explosion, mixing a little bit of his Phase 1 and his Phase 2 together in one last defiant act, while the music accompanies each moment perfectly. This fight tells a story of a creature born to tear down the night, of all the souls swallowed by the disaster, and we have to put an end to it ourselves. At number 3, we have Reese from the first Berserker Kazan, the penultimate boss of the main game. She was a friend to Kazan, and Ozma's beloved. When the kingdom fell to ruin, Kazan clung to the hope that Reese was safe, but she was assassinated by soldiers who were being controlled by a malevolent force, and this was the catalyst that caused Ozma to turn to chaos. As a result, he tried to revive Reese, restoring a shell of her former self who we end up fighting during our boss fight. The slow reveal that Reese is dead and gone, with Ben Starr's stunning voice work as Kazan, still gives me shivers, and the transition from cutscene to gameplay tying perfectly into Reese's music theme is the stuff I play these things for. Her first phase is fairly tame, and that's by design. She uses sigil magic to try and create traps beneath your feet, or attack you with normal magic blasts from afar. She can create walls to try and entrap you with her, but you can just walk around them and use them to block her magic in hilarious fashion. She can attack you at melee range with spectral wings, and she has a fairly easy to predict burst attack. The point is, Reese is gone, and beating down this creature wearing her face, her visage, is kinda like hurting the very woman that Kazan cared for. When Phase 2 hits, she transforms into this dark Valkyrie, wielding a large pick-like weapon, fully embracing the chaos, while Kazan mourns the loss of his friend. Here, her combos get more dangerous, such as her teleportation mid-fight, that you have to learn the timing for to block, alongside her slicing attacks that can even cut the screen itself. She gave me an absolute run for my money. Her Phase 2 takes time to learn, but when you overcome it, you're able to set free her soul and allow her the opportunity to pass on. It's a shame Kazan never truly gets a win with this tale. He's always shouldering the burden of living while everyone around him dies. In tales of revenge, there are no winners, only victims. At number 2, we have Libra, Creature of Night from Elden Ring Night Rain. But unlike Adele's entry earlier in this list, I'm only focusing on the regular variant of this boss. Fuck the Everdark fight, it's awful and I don't like it. But base Libra, my baby, I would never say anything bad about you. I don't even need to make a deal to give out that sweet, sweet Libra propaganda. I've come to realize that my favorite fights in video games are ones that feel perfectly balanced. I don't need a hard-as-balls fight that breaks my soul in 50 different ways, nor do I want a particularly easy fight when I'm pretty far into a title. I just want battles that fit the point of the game that I'm at, with mechanics that are fair and interesting. Libra, as I've stated a few times since Night Rain's release, is all of this for me and more. Whether you're facing down his regular form, where his madness spells are at their basic level, or he's Golden Libra, where all of his spells are powered up to do more damage, have more reach, and just be more of a pain, I love it. Yet I still think my favorite moment in his fight comes when you break his meditation and Libra becomes this feral beast for a short while. He loses any countenance and reveals the true mad creature beneath. A man who could slaughter you in a mere moment if you tick him off enough. And yet that rage is unfocused, pouring out of his hands, the floors, and the very skies themselves, as he tries to refocus and readjust. The battle against Libra is balanced, as all things should be. You'll almost always have at least one instance of breaking Libra's meditation, as well as one instance of Libra going golden in each fight. Learning to handle all of his states is key to success, and that's what makes it so damn fun to play. I just beat him solo as Iron Eye the other day, and I still got that giddy excitement that comes from a job well done. He's gonna be my favorite boss in Night Rain for a long time to come, but he's not my favorite Souls/Soulslike boss of 2025. That goes to...
Romeo's on the clock, and you appear to be nothing but talk.
At number 1, we have Arlecchino, the Blood Artist from Lies of P Overture. The final boss of the DLC, and the main villain who plagues the steps of Leia Florence Monad, he kidnaps your best friend Romeo, and amidst the slaughter of the Monad charity house, he awaits in his fountain of blood. My first time through, I chose to accept Leia's help, wanting to experience the narrative conclusion with the woman I'd grown close to in this DLC's final act, and this was already an exciting experience. I got to watch as Carlo and Leia battle tooth and nail against his first phase, but it was only when I faced this boss on my own in a boss rematch that I truly understood how brutal his combos were. Not only does he have an insane combo game to learn and master, but he's got one specifically to punish healing, has insane arena reach with his hooks, and he just doesn't give you a second to breathe. This is only further enhanced in Phase 2, where we get one of the most disturbing cutscene reveals of all time as his clothes burn away, he takes out that General Radahn cosplay hair, and reveals a pair of grinders on his shoulder for good measure. You've just gotta laugh at the depravity of this man. And then he lets out his own variation of a super move that some consider to be a rival to Waterfowl Dance. He rises up in a tornado of blood, fires the skulls of the damned towards the player, then slams down with an AoE, following up with a hectic series of claw swipes before ending with a final spin, slice, and blood explosion. Learning this move is key to having a good Phase 2, as it can set you up for success once you know its timing. And then the rest of the fight deals with his enhanced grinding combos, his horrific grabs that know no mercy, and the tick-tock of the clock as you try to beat him before he finishes you off. There's nothing quite like staggering him with Leia in the final fight, so you can combo him together alongside her in a cinematic flourish. And that final cutscene when you cut him down with Leia's weapon, the Rose Sword, and the banner is officially passed on to us, it is a sight to see. And sure, it was with Leia, but I did beat him first try, which I'm really proud about.
It was fun while it lasted.
And that's my list. What were your favourite Souls/Souls-like bosses of 2025? Let me know down below, and be sure to parry that subscribe button so you can stay up to date on all my future videos. I want to give a massive shout out to my YouTube channel members for supporting me for another month. Thank you so much. You get access to my Dark Souls 2 and Dark Souls 3 Soul Level 1 runs, and you get a shout out at the end of videos as well. Thank you so much everyone for tuning in. You can follow me on my social medias. I stream often here on YouTube, so you can also catch me live. And I'll see you next time. Adios.